Assalamualaikum and a very good day. Alright, we continue today with our distant learning during this COVID-19 pandemic movement control orders. Alright, so as you know that this lecture is for EPF 4801 process equipment design. Before I proceed to teach you the knowledge on designing a storage equipment for food industry, I would like to introduce you some background, some background of why food industry need food storage. Alright. So today topics I will cover bulk. Okay, what I mean by bulk here is for ingredients, finished good, and WIP, which is work in progress product. Alright, transportation and storage equipment. Okay, in food industry. Before we proceed, let's look on this illustration of food production chain. Okay, so mainly the food production chains deals with many steps. Okay, many steps that are necessary. Okay, while going from agricultural raw materials. Okay, from agricultural raw materials here could be from farm. Okay, from plantation, and then it could be from fishery as well. Okay, fishery, and then proceed to the processing and then distribution, and then finally to our end consumer here. Okay, so the food production change includes aspect from processing, distributions, okay, consumer purchase and consumer use. Right. Then the important element before we get our end product is actually the raw material, okay, that we're getting from this supply. Okay, so compare with other industry, for somehow the PowerPoint respond very slow, or maybe because of this. Okay, all right. Okay, so for food raw materials, there are certain issues that need to be taken care. Okay, due to these issues that require food industry to prepare a proper storage for their raw materials. One of the issues is due to the seasonal. Okay, due to the seasonal nature. Okay, due to seasonal nature. Okay, because the demand for processed food tends to be seasonal in nature. Okay, and supplies of many raw materials are subject to variation in both quantity and quality throughout the year. Okay, such variation may be buffered. Okay, such variation may be buffered by sales forecasting. All right, so mainly what the industry practice is, for example, if let's say they're producing a mango juice, so due to the mango is seasonal fruits, so what they do is they will have a proper storage for their mango, or for their mango puree, so that they can process the mango puree for other months process, for the other months where during the month where there is no mango season. Okay, so this is among the example where buffered mean by this buffered by sales. Okay, can be buffered by sale forecasting, or could be buffered due to the seasonal supply. All right, okay, and then most of the raw material for food production, some of it are shipped in bulk. Okay, some is in bulk over a long distance. Okay, over the long distance. For example, most orange juice could be supplied by Brazil. Okay, all right. Malaysia, we don't have plantation for orange. Okay, all right. So due to this reason, force the industry to prepare a proper storage for their ingredients. Okay, for their products. Okay, for their finished product. Let me think. Okay, example. Okay, this example. Okay, this example showing that the reality in food industry. For example, for the edible oil plant. Okay, the edible oil plant normally they purchase about 3 tons to 6,000 tons shipments of crude palm oil from various locations around the globe. For example, Malaysia, Indonesia. All right. Okay, and then normally the storage for this edible oil plant is stored outside. And then the other example is for raw meat. Okay, for meat plant where they purchase a raw meat. Normally they purchase it in a huge amount. Okay, in order to get discounted price. So they purchase it during lean season. Okay. And then it stores it in the form of cooked or cured meat, and some of them store as a frozen meat. Then look here, there are the examples, snack food plant, where the snack food plant example here showing that it imports a wide variety of nuts from around the globe, and on average maintains an inventory of 3 weeks for 3 weeks supply. Then the other example here is for the tea bag plant, which process 80,000 kilogram of tea per day and have to maintain a large off-site storage facility as its suppliers are located some 3,000 miles away. Alright, this is an example. Okay, so we cannot compare food industry to other mechanical industries. Some industry they claim that they can use it as they're getting their supply, their raw material supply on daily basis, but for food industry we cannot do that. It's impossible to do that. All right. Okay, this is example of transportation. Okay, examples of land transportation. Okay, our raw materials, our foods, mainly transported. It can be done by train. It can be done by tanker truck. So tanker truck normally being used for liquid ingredients. For example, vegetable oil, milk, and then this container truck transport is used for transporting fruits, vegetables, and while this is basically this showing an example of a container with temperature control. So this is frozen container for fishery product. And here is example of sea transportation. We do have cargo tank here. This is cargo tank. Mainly been used to transport in bulk of vegetable oil and frozen juice, for example orange juice, and then this ship is to transport containers. And then there are some requirement where they need to transport their raw material quickly. All right, for example. Okay, so they are using air transportation. For example, tuna, some other high perishable food, for cherry. For example, cherry. All right. So, food are categorized into 3 types, okay, based on the perishability. So for non-perishable foods, we have, for example, sugar, legumes, oil, pickles. This can stay good up to a year, and then it normally need a storage where in a cool or in a dry place. For semi-perishable food, it can stay for a week or few months. For example, semolina, grain flour, onions, potatoes, apple, frozen foods. And then the storage normally required ventilated, cool, or fridge. And then for perishable foods, no, this type of food easily spoil within a couple of days. For example, milk, eggs, meat, fish, poultry, fruits, and others green leafy vegetables. So we need to designate type of storage condition for each on basis of their perishables rate. So, why we need to store the food? I think some of you can answer this already after hearing my initial explanation. For food industry, I heard this is the things that they has been highlighted. Okay, this is the point that they have been highlighted. Why they need to have a proper food storage. One of the reasons is because they want to manage their food logistics. They must make sure that they receive a right quantity at the right place in the right time. Or in other words, is just-in-time production. Okay, to ensure that just-in-time production can be met. And then they want to make sure that they enable to have their raw materials supplies throughout the year. So if let's say they're producing a mango juice, they must make sure that they can produce mango juice monthly. Even though during that time, even though it's not season mango, mango season, season for mango harvesting. Okay, so they have to store as many as they can the mango to make sure that they have sufficient supply for the future production. And then the food storage is intended to preserve the food, so it can prolong the shelf life of the food. So for example, like spice, dry ingredient, rice, flour, okay, so they can, so they have to, they use the food storage area to preserve the food. And then by having a food storage, you can reduce the food waste. All right, and then the industry also needs storage of food products, okay, before the food product being distributed to consumers, because it's impossible for you to supply the finished product immediately after completing the production. And then, so food storage actually for retaining the quality of texture of raw materials before processing of food product, after processing, it is necessary to have them stored in a condition will repress or hinders the growth of microorganisms. And then it helps in retaining flavors, colors, texture, and nutrition, and reduce the chances of contracting foodborne illness. Okay. So the food storage in food industry can be classified as storage equipments. Okay, for example, tanks, silos, bin, and then warehouse. Okay, these are two different things. Equipments, this is equipment, and this is warehouse. Warehouse is facility. For our course, we are focusing on this storage equipment only. Okay. All right. So now let's look the factors for food storage. There are 5 factors of food storage. Food rotation. So what's important of food rotation is to ensure that we use first raw material that we receive. Okay, to ensure that we will not waste the product. Okay, the product is not rotten, so we use it before the expiry date. So it's very important for us to label all the food, okay, so that we can identify which food has come need to be processed first, which raw material that need to be processed first. So this we call the practice of FIFO, FIFO, first in, first out. All right, and then humidity. So ideally, storage areas should have a humidity level of 15% or less. Okay, 15% or less. All right, let me doodle around here. All right. Okay, 15%. For somehow I have to use this. Okay, 15% or less. Oh, it's not so easy. Okay, to doodle around here. Okay, 15% or less. Alright, or less. And most packaging, okay, most of food storage is designed for the food to ensure that we can remain the good condition, okay, of the food, okay, where by protecting them for at certain temperature, and then we try not so humid, the condition is not so humid. And another threat is oxygen. Okay, so oxygen can affect the quality of the food. So therefore, most of the food container, the food storage, also airtight. Okay, most of the design, they're trying to reduce the oxygen content inside the storage by especially packaging, by reducing it less to 2%, okay, in the packaging, so that this can extend the shelf life. So for temperature, it's important for dry material. For dry material, we store it in cool, dry, and well ventilated. This is example for the dry materials. All right, and then the temperature for dry material is between 10 to 21 degrees Celsius. Basically, the rule of thumb is the cooler is better for most of the food. And another things that you need to remember that most of the foods are cut in half by every increase of 10 degrees Celsius. And then for sunlight, okay, we must also protect our product from the sunlight, okay, because sunlight can promote oxidation and subsequent loss of the food's nutritional value and quality. And then from these rats, we must protect it, make sure that our storage can avoid of the vermin, rodent, pests to enter our storage area. Okay. Okay, types of food storage can be classified into 3, and some textbooks they are classified the storage into 4, where they include as well ambient. So here I'm showing only 3 main things: dry storage, frozen storage, refrigerated storage. Right, for the dry storage, basically you need to make sure that it's be cool, you have cool area, dry and well ventilated. Alright. And then the temperature is between 10 to 21 degrees Celsius, and the humidity you must maintain between 60% to 70%. Alright, while for frozen is normally lowest than negative 18 degrees Celsius, and you must have thermometer so then you can control the temperature. And then the raw material is the material inside there as well shouldn't be overloaded. So because we must make sure that the temperature inside there can be controlled, and then the can be distributed. The cool temperature can distributed homogeneously inside the storage area. While for refrigerated storage, they should be kept at 4 degrees Celsius or below. And potentially hazardous food must be at 5 degrees Celsius or colder to prevent bacterial growth. And here as well, you need to have a thermometer. For dry storage, you need to have a humidity meter basically. Alright. So I would like to show you an example. Okay, this real example in the industry. Alright, it is important for you to know a background of the raw material. Okay, the raw material that you're going to use. Okay, before you design the plant. I keep saying this. Okay, I keep saying this. you must find a good reference so that you have the fact that you use as a reference for your design. For example, for palm oil, it's under category of oil and fats. Basically, the rule of thumb for oil and fats is you must preserve the oil from rancidification, or in other words, in bahasa Malaysia, we call it tengik. Alright, so kalau minyak tu dah ada bau tengik, it mean it's not good. Okay, not good. That mean dia the quality that been reduced. So basically, the cause of recidivity is due to the light, atmospheric oxygen, and moisture. So basically, once you open, you must make sure the oil should be refrigerated as soon as possible and used within a few weeks. Okay. Alright, and then some of the oil, after you expose to the air, it can be used within a few weeks, and when some types begin to go rancid, for example, sesame and flaxseed. So it depends on the material, the oil types. Alright. So this is an example of the material that where I refer for my lecture note, and I would like you to refer as well for your design, okay, your plant design project. So for example, like this one, this very interesting document, and it contains a lot of palm oil data. Alright, the properties data. Where are you? I might need to escape from this PowerPoint. Okay, here. Okay, a practice for storage and transport of edible oils and fats. So, in this document, it provides a lot of engineering information basically about the tanks and the properties of the palm oil that need to be protected, that we need to put attention on it. Okay, so it telling that common capacity, okay, capacity of storage tank should be small, and it's desirable to have a number of tanks ranging from 2,000 to 1,000 tons. All right, and they are also provide information on the material for the construction of the tank, and some properties data of the palm oil. I would like you to refer on this. Okay, right, look here. Okay, and then there are another interesting website. This is website I'm getting. I think this is a German company website. But interesting, most of the raw material that been transported internationally, they have a database inside this website. This is Transport Information Service. So for palm oil, this is much more simplified information, and they list out important information for the logistic company to take into consideration during the transportation of the palm oil, and during the unloading of the palm oil, because they must make sure that they can maintain the quality of the product. Alright, there, look here. If the oil solidifies in the tank, if the oil solidifies in the tank, it cannot be qualified again by force heating. Alright, so this is the things that they need to control. The temperature are very vital during the transportation and during the storage basically. And then they must also control the rancidity. I read somewhere inside here is how they control the oxygen content inside the storage tank by filling the tank, you know, as many as they can. Okay, so they are only providing a certain gap inside the tank for expansion of the oil. Okay, that is among the practice that they apply in order for them to control the acidification of the oil. All right. Need to find the slide just now. Okay, and then okay, so this is interesting reading for you. Okay, to refer. And then rice storage. Rice storage, mainly for rule of thumb for the grain, this must be maintained at moisture level of 14% or less and stored in 12% moisture level. So this is a picture of a rice milling plant, rice milling facility in Lund, Alustak, Kedah. Alright, so this is some information that you can refer. Okay, interesting information fact about what is the humidity that you need control for the better storage of the rice in order to prolong the shelf life. Alright, now the example for orange juice storage. Okay, I forgot to delete the safety word. Okay, so if you look at this illustration, basically this is the illustration for the international transport chain for bulk orange product. I'm getting this from the Tetra pack. You can get this book, very interesting, a free ebook. So a lot of things. Okay, this also can be applied for citrus juice, other citrus juice. So this is another things that need to taking care about the shipping, temperature, and then another important thing about the orange juice is they need to taking care the viscosity, because this viscosity will affect the pumping consideration, the pumping size, and the pipeline. So this is example where how the food property need to be taken care. You need to know in order you need to consider in your design. Okay. So from this FCOG is frozen concentrated orange juice. So they basically they are distributing frozen concentrated orange juice as their raw material, and they do have terminal storage. Okay, normally the terminal storage is around the port, close to the port. Then they're using the cargo ship to transport the frozen juice, and then at the place of the receiver also have terminal storage, where this terminal storage is nearby the port, and then they use the rod tanker, frozen rod tanker, to transport into the production facility. So this is the reality. Okay, the reality how the industry practice. And then we as an engineer, you need to know this, and you need to know the information that you need to gather before you design the storage equipment. Alright, so I've been keep saying this throughout my initial slide just now. This is the storage requirement. You must know the raw materials. You must know the raw material information. And then another important thing, you must know the quantities you need to be stored and the turnover rates. Okay, and then the storage requirement, you must know whether the food is perishable, what is the perishability of the foods, the raw material, and then the method and frequency of delivery or shipments. All right, you receive it in cargo ship. Is it you receive it with tanker? Because why? By knowing the transportation type, you will know that how much, what is the amount of the raw material that you will receive, because this raw material later on you need to keep inside your food facility, food production facility. So you must make sure that you have enough storage area for that. Right, now I hope you understand this. And then the other things important you need to keep into consideration is what the conveyance within the factory. Are you using the forklift, or are you using the piping system to transfer the raw material to another equipment? and then to the next processing equipment. Okay, this is all the things that you need to consider. All right, class, that's it for now. All right. So we'll meet you again for another video. The next video is we will continue on the equipment. We're focusing on the equipment. All right, storage equipment. Okay. So see you again. Thank you. Bye. Stay safe. Stay at home. Keep safe. Okay. Hope to see you as soon as possible later. I hope I can see you. All right, class. Bye. Assalamualaikum.